This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
Well, a very pleasant good evening. Time now for Startup Talk from Indian River State College and Mr. Tom Kindred.
Thank you, sir, and welcome to another segment and installment of Startup Talk, the show designed to assist and help Treasure and Resource Coast residents who want to start, grow, or accelerate their business. As I always say, what a great place it is to own and operate a business along the beautiful Research and Treasure Coast. We will spend time during our hour together tonight to highlight and create awareness regarding the very powerful and robust business assistance and support programs which exist right here in our community at our very own Indian River State College. I am Tom Kindred, and I serve as the region's director for the Small Business Development Center here at Indian River State College. Underwriters for this segment of Startup Talk are the law firm of Dean, Mead, Minton, and Zwimmer, celebrating 30 years of service on the Treasure Coast, on the web at deanmead.com. And our good friends at Harbor Community Bank, banking the way it used to be, looking for a better banking experience, discover the Harbor Community Banking difference. Stop by a local branch and speak to a customer service representative today. Harbor Community Bank, an equal housing lender, member FDIC. And as always, our very good friends down at Express Printing of Port St. Lucie. So, Greg, good evening. Our last special appearance on Tuesday night.
Yep. Our last training camp. Early show on a Tuesday. Yeah, we'll be back to Thursdays, folks, for those of you listening, and for some newcomers as well. The 10th anniversary of Coach's Corner will begin next week in this time slot with Mike Thomas.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you, I heard you mention last preseason game for the Dolphins, which is why we kind of traded our spot for a couple of weeks. Is this Thursday night, Dolphins versus Tampa Bay?
No, that's the first regular.
Oh, that's the first regular season game. Okay. Yeah. Who are the Dolphins playing Thursday night? I would ask you.
Yeah,
okay.
I would have to ask. I think they're in Cincinnati or something. I don't know.
Okay. See, I'm not a lawyer. I don't ask questions I already know the answer to. So anyway, so the Dolphins will be. So this is it. This weekend's live. College football is real this weekend. Oh,
you bet. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have the biggie, which is Alabama and Florida State.
Yeah, and I heard that. I heard somebody say this morning that's the first time in the history that two top 3 or top 5 teams have ever played the first week of college football.
Oh yeah, first time in history that the number 1 team and the number 3 team have ever gotten together.
Wow.
First game. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
well, it's usually,
Well, yes. Listen, I'm a Gator fan. I know what it usually is.
It's usually Pancake Weekend.
That's right. But that's why we as Gators, we loved our first game. We focused more on the social aspects of the game than the athletic competition. So
you're saying that tailgating was more important than the game?
I might have said something like that. Yes.
Yes. Good barbecue, though.
That's right. Good barbecue, especially if I was on the scene. So
that's
anyway.
It.
And we also know we're about ready to get underway with all of our fall sports at Indian River State College. Basketball's on the verge of launching. Women's volleyball is on the verge of launching.
It's already
there. They've already started.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. So anyway, all kinds of good things going on. The semester is launched. I think the semester is now 2 weeks old. Fall semester at Indian River State College. I heard the other day, I think I can say this with some confidence, that enrollment is up at Indian River State College. That is a great thing to hear. People taking advantage of an incredible institution right here in our very own community. So enrollment is up. Spoke the other day to Dr. Herb Ricardo from the School of Business. Their enrollment specifically is up in the School of Business. So a lot of young people getting in the School of Business, taking advantage of that program, which I'm a huge supporter of that program and the great things they do with the internships and the capstone programs and getting those students all kinds of great real-world experience prior to graduation. So, again, a lot of good things happening at Indian River State College. Kevin Cooper and his advanced technology program, robotics and photonics, and, the electronics program, cybersecurity. We had Steve Nicholson on the other day. So, again, it's good times, really. A lot of good things happening at Indian River State College campus.
So Cliff here wants to know if your drone class is full yet.
Well, I will.
Because he may apply.
Well, that's right. Well, he needs to get in that drone class, but I will tell you, I made a few phone calls the other day just to do a little bit of unofficial market research, and called a couple of folks that had the drones, and I was pleasantly reassured that when I called and I said, we're offering this class, are we on the right track? The ones that I called said, absolutely, we need the class.
Sure.
So there is a recognition out there that the class is needed, and I appreciate you asking that question, because that's kind of really where I wanted to start tonight's show, because the CCTI, and anybody that knows me knows I could talk for days about the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute at the college.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Yeah. How long do I have tonight?
Well, we got till midnight.
That's
Go
right.
for it.
So I could talk for hours about these programs. And again, for me, it's easy for me to talk about all this because I was out there. I was where you are, Greg. I was where thousands of people are every day, owning and operating a small to medium-sized business out there along the Treasure Coast, fighting that battle every day. And I was not truly aware of, and you've heard me say many, many times that had I been aware of and had I taken advantage of these programs, it would have certainly helped my business. But what I really love about the CCTI is that there's a constant, drive and initiative out there to find out what's new, find out what the local business community needs. What are the current topics? What should we be offering? So I just kind of wanted to start tonight, and we're going to talk about a very unique program with the SBDC. But I want to start tonight, just throw some topics out there that are coming up this fall with the CCTI. And, of course, we had on Dr. Salazar, I think a couple weeks ago, and he is our instructor for the new drone testing prep class. As we talked about, the FAA now has their Part 107. They have finally come down with the ruling. It's hobbyist versus commercial. If you're going to make money with your drone, then you have to have the FAA Part 107.
And the broadcast attorney who has presented for the last 2 years to Florida broadcasters said, if you have a drone, you get a license, period,
right.
End of story.
Right.
Or the FAA will go
right.
after you.
And I certainly don't want to try to remember or quote Dr. Salazar, but the numbers were pretty high. It's more money than I got if you get caught trying to make money with your drone.
Yes.
So we are offering, again, here's a brand new, innovative, current topic that we're helping folks with. That class is going to start September the 23rd. It's going to be held on Saturdays. It's a 21-hour course, so 3 Saturdays. And we are going to take you through all kinds of different areas of the test, and we're going to prep people and prepare them to be ready to go take that FAA Part 107 test. So incredible class. So all kinds of things going to happen in that class that are going to prep you and prepare you to go take that class. It'll be held on the main campus here in Fort Pierce.
And if you have a business and you're planning on using a drone, get to that class because you've got to have that license.
Yeah, you just absolutely have to have the license now. And those that I called, like I say, just a little unofficial market research, I called and said, you have a drone, and how do you feel about the license? And Tom, we got to have it. We know we got to have it. Sign us up for the class. So limit of 15 in that first class. So
wow.
So I would encourage folks to sign. That's on the website, irscbiz.com. Go to the September events calendar, and you'll see the class there. It's an accelerated class taught by a knowledgeable expert in drone aviation. And so if you're operating a drone out there and you're looking to start a business or continue your business or make some money with your drone, you need to get that license. And then met with a great young man the other day. He is has a world of experience in equipment operation, specifically crane operation. So the crane business is sort of going the way that a lot of things go. Eventually, there's going to be a move to where you're going to have to be certified and licensed to go operate a crane.
Oh,
so
okay.
we are cranking up what we're going to probably call something along the lines of the Crane Operators Institute at the Corporate and Community Training Institute, and we're going to offer start off with a couple of basic crane certification and training courses, mobile crane operator and the signal person certification. So 2 classes to start off with, but again, high level training, operation of the crane, and get you certified. There is an actual certification organization out there, the National Crane Association, that has the certification. So again, trying, as the construction business comes back in our region,
and it is.
Well, it's according to Mayor Orvac in Port St. Lucie, it's already happening down there.
It is.
And when you see the trusses being put on roofs, that's a crane. I noticed the new church that bought the old digital domain building down in Tradition.
Sure.
They were putting up some tilt walls the other day. Big crane out there. So again, good jobs, good high-paying jobs, and so we are actually going to be able to offer some crane certification courses through the CCTI. Those are going to be launched in the fall. We're working with the University of Florida IFAS Extension Program to kind of still working out the details on this program, but we're going to run a series of 6 classes, and the extension agency and UF is calling it Sprouting Healthy Businesses.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like
so
it,
so they're going to do some urban ag classes, container garden, soil building, seed starting, transplant, crop varieties, garden arrangement, when to plant, irrigation, weeds, disease, pest. And then we're going to infuse or graph a little bit of business training within their horticulture training, and we're going to talk about things like how to create the business plan, marketing and branding, record keeping, taxation, pricing your product. So again, a great series of business courses partnering with the St. Lucie County Extension Agency and UF and the IFAS program to put that together. And again, looking to launch that in the fall also. And then we had a great meeting the other day with one of our partners who we've had on the show many times, and we talk about all the time, is the Indian River State College School of Business. So we're working with the School of Business to create some modules, 3 class modules, and we're going to offer them in one of 2 ways. We're going to offer them as a 1-day training for that person that can take that 1 day out of the office. It'll be 3 2-hour courses in 1 day, so you'll take all of them in 1 day. And we're going to offer it as a 3-night 2-hour class over the course of 3 nights. And there'll be modules. They'll be kind of under the same topic, so they may be 3 finance classes, 3 marketing classes, 3 sales classes, 3 management classes. There'll be if you sign up for all 3, there'll be a discount to take all 3. And again, just an opportunity. We'll do some of them at Maine, and we're also going to do the night classes down at the Pruitt campus, the Enterprise Hub.
Nice.
So I'm telling you, there is so much going on. We're trying to make sure that we're responding to the marketplace. We're doing new topics. We're doing current topics, and I got to give the CCTI people kudos. They really make sure they're out there trying to dig up the most current topics and make sure we're offering them.
Yeah, and what's really amazing, I know a friend, his son came down from Minnesota because he liked the 4-year degree programs here.
Oh, yeah.
So, he can live at home here and and do all 4 years at IRSC.
Oh, got a 4-year degree, in business administration. Got a 4-year degree in accounting now. I mean, unbelievable program. Just unbelievable programs at Indian River State College. So I encourage every business person, if you're listening out there tonight, I know you're busy. I know it's tough. I was in your shoes. I walked a mile in your shoes. When 6 o'clock came, all you wanted to do was go home. And you're absolutely right, and you've earned the right to go home and put your feet up.
See, in your case, when 6 o'clock came, your employees went home, and you were there till midnight. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
no. Wait a minute now.
We know
when
that
5
feeling.
o'clock came, my employees went home. Yeah, yeah. Oh, are you kidding? But again, it's not forever. It's not every night. But there are a lot of classes and courses that can help a business, take the business to the next level, increase the revenue. If you pick up a couple of tips in some of these classes, it's been well worth the time and the effort. So I just encourage every business out there to go to that irscbiz.com site. And look at that events calendar. And, again, and we're not talking about big investment in a lot of these classes. They're just not. For the few dollars that you pay to get in these classes, there's an awful lot of value on the back end.
And, Bob O'Brien has talked about it several times, is the fact that, they can tailor classes to your business.
Well, sure. So you as the business owner could come to a class and say, and trust me, I tell this story all the time about how the Chamber of Commerce one time many years ago brought one of those national training groups in, and I think it was customer service was the topic. And so I said, you know what, I'm taking all my employees. So they did it in a couple of different time slots. So I was able to, half the staff went now and half the staff went in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I took everybody, and I'll never forget the instructor of the class started the class by saying, everybody in the room who thinks they deserve a raise your hand. So, of course, everybody, raised their hand. I thought, oh, my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? What have I sent, my people to? But his response after that was just brilliant. I loved it. He said, all right, fine. You think you deserve a raise. What value are you bringing back to the business? So it really was. It was a great course. It was a great course, and it kind of made everybody stop and think. What am I doing to bring value back? And that's what it's all about: bringing value into the business and learning new techniques and keeping yourself up to date on what's going out there in training. And again, employees are the most important asset of a business. And training is just such an important element in keeping that business current and running efficiently and really being as profitable as you can be.
Sure.
I think it's the key. So again, the team at CCTI has really worked hard over the summer to go identify some new and exciting topics and put together some exciting modules and different ways to offer the classes. So I would just encourage you to get in touch with the CCTI, get in touch with the SBDC, and let us know what we can do to help your business. It's just that simple. So that's my segue into my guest tonight, because same philosophy holds true at the SBDC. We are constantly looking, how can we bring current business issues, business resources, business training to the community. And we've had a number of times on this show, we've talked about the issue of cybersecurity, but the Florida SBDC has targeted. Now, remember too, and I've talked about this for many times. As any regular listener knows, the SBDC has within its ranks specialists. So we have a government procurement specialist. I love Scotty. I mean, Scotty will help a business. He'll hold their hands, take them through step by step the process needed to get that business, ready, paperwork, certifications to participate in that government contracting area. We have financial expertise, Spike and some others that are the profit mastery, instructors and can help people use profit mastery to improve their margins and their profits in the business. We have an international trade specialist who we've had on the show many times, Emily McHugh. The work Emily does with this international marketing plan is just, you wouldn't believe it until you see it. And I'll tell you something that's coming up. We've got a new program now called the Ag Export Marketing Plan.
Ooh.
That's just about ready to get launched, so I can give you a little teaser.
Okay.
So what we're looking for now is some agricultural companies that have an agricultural product that they are looking to take into the international market. And we will help them write an international marketing plan for that product. We'll do all the research, put together the plan, the action plan, and there again, same type of program as before. I think the business investment is $250.
Oh, that'd be tough to scrape up.
$250.
That's it?
And that's it. And funds are being supported to pay for the remaining balance of that export marketing plan. But for the business, their only skin in the game is $250.
Wow.
So that's coming up. So government procurement, international trade, veteran-owned business certification, all those kind of things. We have specialists, and now we have some folks that have been to training, and we now are going to begin to offer some consulting and some coaching in the area of cybersecurity. So one of those folks that has been to the training and is now got some cybersecurity background now is our good friend and marketing specialist Patrice Koblitz. Patrice, you with us?
I am. How are you, Tom?
I'm good. So, did you almost fall asleep through all that, Patrice? Were you able to hang in there through my intro?
I was actually on the edge of my seat, riveted.
That's good, Patrice. I'll buy you lunch tomorrow. All right, so Patrice, let's start with the basics here with you real quick. Let's start to just give us a little background on you and all the business things that you had been doing prior to arriving at the SBDC at IRSC.
I have 17 years public relations and marketing experience, everything from consulting to working in the big corporate world of marketing and PR. Crisis management is really my specialty. Crisis public relations, crisis planning, that sort of thing. So for me, this cybersecurity really, really sets me, because I love to be able to plan. I love to be able to see things through,
right,
and see these attacks. I mean, this is something. It's not if, it's when people will endure a cyber attack.
Patrice, I got to ask you a question though. With everything that's going on with Hurricane Harvey, and is seeing that you were at the Army Corps of Engineers, holy smokes! That you talk about crisis PR. That's got to be just unbelievable.
Well, and you know what's interesting? Now, I got to tell you, I loved what I saw. Was it today? I think that the president landed. He went today, right?
Yes.
Well, at some point when he landed, of course, they were live with him coming out of the plane and folks meeting him. Did you happen to catch the three letters on the back of the jacket that met him out on the tarmac? Anybody catch that?
No, I was.
SBA.
Oh, okay.
That
sure.
was who met him on the tarmac, was the SBA. And and we've had that talk many times before about, there are disaster programs out there through the SBA, and we've had access to those programs right here along the Treasure Coast last year during Matthew, and we had the SBA in the studio here. So, while the disaster obviously deals a lot with the weather folks and like you say, the Army Corps of Engineers, but a lot of think about the businesses that get affected here. It just hundreds of thousands of businesses that get affected, and they've got to have help, because of course, how do people get their lives back in order? Well, you got to have the businesses back in order to help the people get their lives back in order. So it's as Patrice is saying, the disaster preparedness, business continuity training and business continuity in your business, having that plan is such a big part of what needs to happen too. And we're prone to this in Florida. I mean, we get hit by hurricanes, And every business needs to know, how will I get back up and running? How fast can I get back up and running? How do I deal with if I lose power for 30 days? How am I going to stay in business? And that's a whole nother story. I went through 04. I went through the 04 in the tractor business. Yep. And you know what? We didn't have any power, but we were in business and we had products and people needed our products and the doors were open and unfortunately for me, it kind of happened just sort of by the seat of our pants. It would have been nice had we had a plan and we knew we were going to do that. But I learned an awful lot. So you're so right, Patrice. I mean, the whole business continuity issue is big, and this whole cybersecurity really deals kind of in that same areas. Is that you can be shut down because of cyber attack. So
absolutely, Tom.
Let's do this, Patrice. Before we get into your we get into some questions with you, and you tell us what the exciting things the SBDC is doing in cybersecurity. Let's take a quick break and recognize our underwriters and sponsors here of Startup Talk.
You bet. Startup Talk is being underwritten by the law firm of Dean Mead, Benton and Zwimmer, celebrating 30 years of service on the Treasure Coast. Practice areas include commercial litigation, tax and business law, real estate development, agricultural and water law, trust, probate, and estate planning. On the web, deanmead.com. And by Harbor Community Bank, banking the way it used to be. Are you looking for a better banking experience? At Harbor Community Bank, our customers' needs are our top priority. Whether you're looking to finance a dream home or open a small business line of credit, or send your first child off to college, Harbor Community Bank is ready to assist you every step of the way. Why wait? Discover the community banking difference. Stop by your local branch and speak to a customer service representative or a loan officer today. Harbor Community Bank, an equal housing lender, member FDIC.
And we are back. This is Startup Talk from the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute at Indian River State College. Our guest this evening is Patrice Koblis, who serves as the marketing specialist with the Florida Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College. So, Patrice, you've spent obviously years in business yourself. So talk to us now a little bit about this new kind of initiative from the Florida Small Business Development Center called their Bite-Size Program. That's BYTE.
Oh, come on. Really? Really?
Marketing, you got to have a catchy name.
I love it. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So talk about this Bite-Size Program here, Patrice.
All right. So it was really conceptualized and put together because of the growth in attacks and the vulnerabilities for small businesses. And truthfully, it's to try to increase the awareness around small business. Folks are busy in their business. They're overwhelmed. I mean, typically they're trying to manage multiple avenues, right? And even your larger small businesses. So ultimately, it was to increase awareness, give them an understanding of their risk, teach them how to mitigate that risk, right? And then how to resolve the issue. So with this program, we kind of, today we had our very first lunch and learn on cybersecurity for small businesses. It was well attended. We had about 20 small businesses there. And in that, we sat down, we started to discuss the different, what is cybersecurity, right? And who are the bad guys, right? Who's out there to want to get their information? And it could be anyone from a state actor to, just some kid messing around. But ultimately, once your data and once your system's been breached, it's been breached, and it opens you up to much more of an attack and liability than just, than a lot of other things, especially cyber. Once it's out there on the web, it's out there on the web.
Well, and let me say, too, and let me ask you this, because, with your exposure now to the program and what's going on in the cybersecurity world, I always kind of, thought back in my business in the days when I was in the ag equipment business, the kind of joke was who'd want to hack us? We, not a very exciting business, but do you get that a lot of times when people would say, nobody'd want to hack us. We're not big enough. We don't, we're just not doing a lot on the web. Do people really feel like it's the old saying, it'll never happen to me kind of thing? Do you hear?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not. They say you're not too big to fail. Well, you're not too small to be hacked, right?
Well, and I think a lot of people, and even I had to kind of step back, even in my business, and say, well, now wait a minute, what? I do a lot of banking online, so my bank accounts were exposed. We did when we sold equipment and financed equipment, all that information was transmitted online. So you had Social Security numbers, federal tax ID numbers that were out there.
And how many times have you lost credit cards or had credit cards stolen?
Right.
Yeah.
So even for those businesses that don't think, well, I'm really not exposed. I'm not working in the world of international trade or something. But is that a fair statement, Patrice? That's what even the small hackers could get in and grab a little bit of your money and grab a little bit of your data and cause you all kinds of problems.
Right. And even if, so your data, your customer data is gold. Right? There's many ways to sell that on the dark web, which is, an alternate web service, an alternate internet, so to speak, for nefarious people. So they get a hold of your customer data, sell it to whomever they choose for whatever price they choose. But then now you're responsible for that customer data, and anything that it's used for, you can be held liable. So you want to be able to guard that. And also, a lot of small businesses, even if they're not dealing directly with customer data, can they afford to have their web service down? Can they afford to have all their information on their computers stolen via ransomware, right? So a big thing everybody would have talked about was the Crybaby ransomware that went out there, and that's malware, malicious internet, right? Or malicious code that people opened up because it was said, something to entice them, like, you'll never cry like this or something.
Right.
You open it up, you click on it, now that malware infects your computer. And you don't know how long it can be on there. It can be on there. The average time before someone finds out that this malware is on their computer is 6 months. So you can have malicious software on your computer for 6 months just scooping up all the data.
Wow. And not know it and not realize it.
And not know it. And then to understand that ransomware when they put ransomware on your computer, they take hold and have control over everything. So they'll steal all of your data, all of your information, and they'll pop up and say, pay me $1,000 or $500 million, right? They were trying to hit HBO for $3 million. For some scripts they stole.
And
right?
I was having a conversation just the other day, and I think it may have been Steve when he was on the show talking about the college's cybersecurity program. He said, the ransomware, just because you pay the ransom doesn't mean they'll release your computer.
Yeah, sure.
Right, so.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, ultimately, again, it's not if, it's when, but what are we doing? Do you have backups? What are you doing to prepare? How are you planning for an attack, right? What are things you need to do to just make it harder for them, right? A lot of reasons the small business are attacked is because they're easy targets. It's easy money.
So take us kind of through your lunch and learn today. Did you have here's the 5 things you need to do to better protect yourself? Do you have some bullet points for us that we can talk about?
Yeah, so we would talk first is, the basic cybersecurity. What are your threats, right? And so the bad guys, security vulnerabilities, right? One of the things when you tell them how do you protect yourself, well, the simple things, have a firewall. Make sure your antivirus is on, active and up to date, right? Make sure that you're implementing all of those patches. Every time your Microsoft wants to update, or Windows, whatever your computer is running on, wants to make an update, it has to make those updates because a lot of them are security patches.
Right.
Okay.
So anytime your computer kind of Microsoft flashes back to you and says, we've got some updates. Your recommendation is you do the updates. You install the updates. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because it's typically a patch that is fixing a vulnerability, right?
Okay.
So now you have firewall, you have passwords, you have firewall, you have antivirus, you have you have passwords, right? Passwords.
And it shouldn't just be password.
Oh, sure.
People will leave their passwords laying around.
Right.
They'll keep all of their passwords in one file on the computer. If you get breached, now all of your passwords to everything
hanging on the wall
right.
and stuff. Yeah. Oh.
Right.
Right.
Now, so talk to me a little bit about what would an IT policy look like for a small business? I mean, how complicated is this IT policy that a business needs to create and implement within their business?
Well, it's not that difficult, right? So you would want to have who's managing. If you have a couple people, 4 people, or 20 people, and you don't have a specific IT department, right? Who manages the updates? Who makes sure that all of those get updated properly and on time, right? What's your policy for employees using handheld devices? Or, there's a whole new thing, BYOD, bring your own device, right? And use your own device for work-related activity. Well,
whoa, wait a minute. Back up. Really? A business would allow that?
Yeah, more and more businesses are having their employees use their own cell phones.
Right, to gain access to the company website, to place orders, to upload orders. Right.
Right. So,
I never thought about that.
Right. So you want to tell those employees, do not go and sit in Starbucks and do those orders because it's on an open network, right?
Good
If you're not logging into a VPN, a virtual private network, to do your business, then everything that you're sending over the internet is in clear text, meaning people who are there to scoop that data off of the internet can see it.
So you wouldn't want to sit in the Starbucks and communicate with your sales manager and say, here's my $5 million worth of sales today, the customer name, the address, the social security number.
Right.
I get it. Right.
I see this same business owner at Duncan every once in a while, and he's got a pile of papers, and he's feeding it all in. Yeah. Whoa!
Yeah, you're right. That's an open. That's an open Wi-Fi.
Listening now.
Right.
Right.
Oh my!
So if he's using his provider's internet services, provider's data, then it's encrypted.
Right.
Okay. But if he's using the open network, it is not. So things like that. You want that in your policy.
All right.
Make sure that if you're traveling, do not use these open networks. Right. Use your Wi-Fi data.
And it really is in business. There really is a term now, BYO. What?
D. Bring your own device.
BYOD. Bring your own device. So businesses are encouraging the employees to get their own device, iPad, iPhone, and basically use that for the business.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so for 8 hours a day, it's used for business, and the other time, it could be used for anything.
It better not be used for bad stuff, or else your business will get it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but that's therein lies the problem, because the business cannot control how you use your information, your phone, your tablet, right? So your personal property, your own device, they can't control how you use that. But they can say, when you're doing company business, this is the policy, right? Like, for instance, some companies say you are not allowed to talk on the phone while driving. No business can be done on the phone while you're driving.
Right, and no business can be done on an open Wi-Fi access.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it would be things of that nature. And again, back in my business, we didn't have an IT. We had a policy manual. We had an employee handbook, but at the time we weren't probably sophisticated enough to have an IT policy. So I'm going to assume at this point, IT policy now is just as popular as the company uniform, any of those things that are always, parts of employee manuals.
Right. And the thing is, with these IT policies, and with any policy, you need to consistently communicate these things as reminders. You can't just, onboard someone, let them read the policy and never touch it again, right? So it should be something that should be communicated consistently. Remember, we're creatures of habit. We do things by habit. We do things at a convenience. If I have to get something done, it'll take me 3 minutes at the Starbucks to knock it out versus having to go back to the office or my home, or maybe, whatever the case is, right? Maybe the cell phone data is not working well. Anything. That's where human error is really a big factor in a lot of the breaches that take place.
Well,
someone in the business will click the link of WannaCry.
Right. Well, and again, you bring up a good point there too. Is there a statistic out there on, human error in all of this? Does that represent the biggest part of the ability for folks to hack into your system? I have numbers running around in my head, but I wouldn't want to. I couldn't be clear. But that's apparently a big part of it, though, is it not? The big part of this human error, right?
Human error, right? Because obviously things just you're quick in it, right? That WannaCry people.
Well,
be told, or your bank sends you something. And it's not your bank.
That's right. And I have I don't know whether I can't remember the exact way it was phrased, but I was in a training one day too where the gentleman said, there's just you just never click on an attachment that you don't know who it's from. I mean, that was just one of, he just said that is the basic rule. Do not open attachments.
Right.
Yep.
Well, the thing is also, remember, Tom, is that people's emails get compromised and someone will receive an email with somebody else's name in it. Right? Think about Bank of America or any of these other banks. They're always sending you, hey, there's an email going out saying it's from us. It's not.
Right.
Right? So you'll get an email from Bank of America. You'll get an email from whatever bank. I'm just using Bank of America because that's my bank.
Right.
But,
right.
So you have to be aware of those things. And another thing that's important also, the Internet of Things. Remember, everything, you've got a Google Watch or an Apple Watch. You have a security system that's on the Internet. You have wireless printers. All of these things in a small business open doors to attack. They can all be attacked. So it's important to read and change your FTP address, or you have to change your security passwords, to log in, because every people will hook those up and they will never change. It'll leave it to the default password, right?
What about change your FTP address? That's pretty elaborate, isn't it?
Well, it's inside you read the booklet to your Internet of Things, and in there it'll give you directions on how to change it for that, because what it'll do is it will pick one that's automatic, right? So if somebody drives by, they can choose whichever one it's sitting on.
Whoa.
Right, so it's like a channel it sits on.
So
think of it that way.
So updating, changing passwords on a regular basis, basically, is that's kind of the point there. Is that look at those addresses for those wireless devices, and on a regular, every 6 months, every quarter, some regular routine where you're updating and changing passwords. I mean, I know that the college, obviously, we have to change our password regularly on our computer. So same philosophy, I guess.
All of our radio networks do the same thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, on a quarterly basis. Yep.
Right.
And also, remember, they have patches. All of these things get pushed out so quickly. All of these new wireless, everything is becoming wireless, right? You can run your house or a business off your phone. So remember, whatever products, whatever applications you have, make sure you're looking to see if they have any patches that need to be downloaded.
Okay. So any app you may be using to run your business
Correct.
also needs to be updated. Okay. What sort of regulatory concerns does a small business encounter?
All right. So if you happen to, let's say you have customer data, right? So if you have, any breach of more than 500 or more in this state, the notice has to be provided to not just the Florida Department of Legal Affairs, but to your customers within a few days, but the Florida Department of Legal Affairs within 30 days. And it has to have a whole explanation and how you remediated it, right? So you are, one, you're responsible for what happens to your customer data, right? So if you don't notify them, you will be fined, okay? Two, if someone gets into your computer or gets access to your files, right? Let's say I sell widgets online and people buy them with stolen credit cards, okay? I'm responsible for that now. Not for the stolen credit card part, but for all that money, everything that I sent out, I don't get paid back that money. That's a loss for me.
Right.
So if I sold $10,000 in widgets on a bum credit card, I'm out $10,000.
Oh,
Yes, we had that happened.
We've
a couple
all been
times.
there.
Yes.
yeah.
So what happens? So can you kind of take us through an attack in a business? I mean, what happens when the business gets attacked? And again, you talked about having malware for 6 months. How do I know I've been attacked?
Well, and so this is that's detection. So this is why it's important if you're a small business and you're dealing with, financial data or private customer data, HIPAA stuff, you really want to find yourself a good IT firm to come in and do an assessment of your system, right? And then to detection, there's software programs that can detect. I mean, obviously keeping your antivirus up, your antivirus and have it running, then it can detect any abnormalities, right? But some of these, like WannaCry, some of these things before they're detected, the virus software can't find them, right? So that's why if you're with an IT firm, they'll be able to implement monitoring of your system and check for any glitches, right? Their software can detect any glitches because, this malware does leave little footsteps.
So just like I mentioned earlier, the government procurement, the international trade, the financial, the capital access to capital assistance. So all the things that the SBDC does, they've now kind of added to their area of support and resources and assistance. They've added an area of cybersecurity. This has now become one of the areas that we support a business on. Have I described that properly?
It's more around the angle of a lot of education and awareness for this, right? We won't consult on your security measures.
Right.
Right. That requires an IT firm.
Right.
Right.
But we can make a business. The SBDC now has the training, the knowledge, the expertise, and the support to make a business aware of what's happening in this area.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, the goal really is to teach businesses, what their risks are, right? How to mitigate those risks, and how to respond to it, right? You have to have the detection.
Right.
And then, and to put together a plan, right? How do you respond? How do you get back into business? How do you get online, right? How do you protect yourself? Because a lot of this will destroy your reputation if you don't manage it properly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
And there's insurance. We were very lucky to have an insurance agent. She came. She was very interested in it because cybersecurity insurance is something her company is starting to offer now. Well, again, the cybersecurity insurance is evolving just as our laws around cybersecurity issues are evolving because it's so new.
Okay.
So if you're operating a business, let's say a gym with 1,000 clients, and their data gets breached, and it costs that gym, let's say something gets shut down, it costs them $15,000, right? $20,000, 100,000. Are they insured for that?
Right.
A small business.
Yeah. Well, it is true too. Insurance, again, back in my day, every year there'd be some new part that you could add to your insurance, some new element that you could add. So there was the terrorism, you could add terrorism insurance. And so I guess this is, again, responding to current issues. You can buy cybersecurity insurance. As we kind of close here, Patrice, did anything interesting come up today in the Lunch and Learn? Did somebody have a story where they had a problem and anything of that nature come up during the Lunch and Learn today?
A lot of it was personal things that happened to them, having their computers hacked and their information getting out there. But this is something that's not important also. You watch your thumb drives, right? So what a lot of companies will do will drop a thumb drive on the ground and see if their employee picks it up, right? Well, there was actually a nuclear power plant that someone found, and it wasn't in this country, someone found a thumb drive, plugged it in to their server or, a computer there.
Right.
Malware went on and sent it for real. And what it was doing, it was turning the reactors up and down, up and down, up and down. So
wow.
The lesson here is this. If it's not your thumb drive, you don't know whose it is, do not try to open it up.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Don't look. If it says financials, 2016, winning lottery ticket numbers, whatever it says, don't open it.
I'd never fall for that one. I know I'm not that lucky.
Oh, I don't know. I might.
Now, Patrice, I'm assuming the object here is to offer some more Lunch and Learns as we move through the year, and potentially even work with IRSC and some of their instructors to bring as much information as we can out there to the cybersecurity issue. Is that true?
We did have a member of the cybersecurity department there, right. And it was great to have that technological side. He was able to give a lot of technological advice.
Great. Okay.
And information, which was excellent. So I believe we'll be partnering with them in the future as well.
Okay.
I know we have the Women in Business Summit coming up October 19th.
All right.
There is a section on cybersecurity there, so it would be great.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate the update, and we appreciate everyone tuning into another segment of Startup Talk. And with that, we will talk to you next Thursday evening on Startup Talk from Indian River State College.
You have been listening to Startup Talk from Indian River State College on WPSL, Port St. Lucie, WPSL.com, webcaster to the world, WSTU, Stewart, and WQCS, Fort Pierce.